Hey guys, I'm back again with a brand new video for you all, and this time I brought you 10 best cores that you can use for the Open Great League. As from tomorrow, there's going to be league rotations, and it's going to be all three leagues: Great League, Ultra League, and Master League. And more importantly, Great League is going to be around for 2 weeks. So these are the best cores that you can use for the Great League. And yep, without any further ado, let's start the video. Core number 1 is going to be Bastiodon and Trevenant. Now, think about all the Pokemons or all the metas that's gonna be in the Open Great League. There are gonna be a lot of Alterias, a lot of Talonflame Skeledirges, there's gonna be a lot of Charjabugs, and there is going to be like Skarmories. So all of them can be handled by Bastiodon. And the other side, think about there's going to be a lot of Mudboys, a lot of Lanturns, a lot of Annihilapes, and a lot of Polyrats. Trevenant's going to handle all of those. So this is a fantastic core. And also these two handle each other's weakness very well. Trevenant being weak against Flyers. Bastiodon kills the Flyers, and Bastiodon weak against Mudboys. Trevenant kills the Mudboys. And yep, core breaker is going to be those Glygars, those Feraligators. And I've also kept Nidoqueen as the core breaker because, yep, Nidoqueen being the ground type is going to be strong against Bastiodon. And in shield scenarios, Nidoqueen is also going to be able to beat Trevenant, but it can always be neutral scenario, these two Pokemons. And yep, the best partners that you can use in this core is going to be Quagsire, Sableye, Annihilape, and Whiscash. Now, if you use Quagsire or Whiscash, it's going to be fine against those Alone Sandslash and Glygars, because you've got Aqua Tail and Scald in your Whiscash and Quagsire. It's going to be good against Gligar as well, and it's going to be like a neutral scenario against Feraligatr or with the Mudboys. And if you use like Annihilape, then you're going to have to do some teamwork against Feraligatr. And yep, if you use Annihilape, you're going to have to do some teamwork against Gligar as well. But you're gonna do good against Alone Sandslash. So yeah, Sableye also can be a very neutral pick for this core. And if you use Sableye and Trevenant, you're more likely gonna use Bastiodon in the lead and Double Ghost at the back. Same with Annihilape. But yep, this core is one of my favorite, especially with the rise of Polyrats and Annihilapes. Trevenant beats both. Yep, so this is gonna be a very interesting core. And moving on to core number 2. It's going to be Registeel and Mandibuzz. Now, this is a very interesting core. Just a plain thinking. Mandibuzz is going to be weak against Fairy and Charmers, right? And Registeel does good against Fairy types. And yep, Mandibuzz is also a Flyer, but doesn't do that good against the Fighters because it's also dark. That is why I've kept Polyrat as the core breaker. In 2 shields, Polyrat can win Mandibuzz. So that is why I kept Polyrat as the core breaker. In 2 shields, it can win Mandibuzz with those icy wins. But 1 turn of fast move can flip the scenario against Polyrat. And yep, Alone Sandslash can beat both Mandibuzz and Registeel. Now, Alone Sandslash with Powder Snow is gonna have a little hard time against Registeel. But with Shadow Claw, Alone Sandslash can beat Registeel in 2 shields. In all shield scenarios, you're always going to shield that Focus Blast. And yep, with Powder Snow, it's going to be like 2 shield victory for Registeel. But if it's Powder Snow and Shadow Alone Sandslash, and if Registeel is of bad IBs, then 2 shields Sandslash with Powder Snow is also going to be able to beat Registeel. And yep, Charjabug can beat Mandibuzz, and there's no hard move against Charjabug with Registeel, so I kept it as core breaker. Registeel and Charjabug is going to be neutral. So best partner for this core is going to be Gligar and Annihilape and Skeledirge. Now Skeledirge can beat both its core breakers, Sandslash and Charjabug, and with Polyrat you're gonna have to land the move. It's gonna be Disarming Voice, and same goes with Polyrat. They're gonna have to land the Scald in order to win against Skeledirge, right? So it's gonna be a good partner. And if you use Annihilape, it can do good against all its cores and neutral against Charjabug. Well, Charjabug resists the counters, but you always got that Shadow Ball and can beat both Polyrat and Alone Sandslash. And Gligar Gligar can beat Poliwrath and Charjabug, but it's gonna be hard against Alone Slash. You're gonna have to land that, move, dig, and yep, this is a very interesting core. Pretty fun core. I am gonna use this. And moving on to another core, it's gonna be core number 3, and core number 3 is Skeledirge and Guzzlord. Now this is a really interesting core. I was thinking about this, like I made a simple graph, right? A simple graph. Now Skeledirge is fire, and Guzzlord is dark. So Azumarill is both fairy and dark. That is why it's in the core breakers area there. And both struggles against Alterias, Bastiodons, and Carbink as well, being Steel versus Dragon and Rock versus Fire. It's gonna be a little hard. So yeah, again, struggles against Altaria as well. But Guzzlord against Altaria in one shield. Guzzlord can win Altaria in one shield scenario. So yeah, best partners for this is going to be Grass for those Azumarills and Bastiodons and Carbinks. Against Carbink, Venusaur does very good, but against Bastiodon, you're gonna invest a shield. You're gonna have to invest a shield, and it's not easy being a Bastiodon against Venusaur as well. And thinking about Alone Sandslash as the best partner for this core, it's gonna beat all the core breakers except Azumarill, but you're gonna do some teamwork if you use Alone Sandslash in this core, right? So Lanturn can also be a very good pick for this core. And yeah, Lanturn does good against Azumarill and fine against Bastiodon. Not that great, but in 2 shields you might be able to win against Bastiodon and Carbink with those surfs. Now if it's Water Gun, it's even better against those Rock Seals. And against Altaria, it's a little tough. If you're using Lanturn, then you should use Guzzlord in the lead, and it's gonna be ABA against the other core breakers, or you can use Lanturn in the lead and double weak to Altaria at the back, like Guzzlord and Skeledirge at the back, and you gotta bait out the Altaria. Well, Lanturn is still not the best counter for Altaria. It's still Dragon, right, being flying, so electric moves are gonna be just neutral, but it can be played out. And I've kept Superior there because, as I said earlier, Grass can be a very good partner for this core, judging Carbink and Azumarill being the core breaker. So with those Aerial Aces, if you spam Aerial Aces and do some teamwork with this core, you can also be able to beat Altaria as well. And Altaria needs to land the Sky Attack, right? And it's gonna take a long time to reach the Sky Attack. And yep, this is a interesting core. Moving on to another core, it's gonna be core number 4. Core number 4 is Annihilape and Charjabug. Now, in my previous season's core video, I've kept this core as well, Annihilape and Charjabug. It's a very balanced core. Forget about its core breakers first. Look at Charjabug. What is its weakness? Bastiodons, right? And Annihilape, is very good against Bastiodons. So, and yeah, the core breakers are definitely going to be Fire Flyers. Like Charjabug is going to be weak against those. Also Altaria, because as I already said, it's also Dragon, even if it's flying, and Charjabug is Bog, Altaria is flying. So we're gonna have to land multiple discharges, and yeah, it's gonna be tough against Altaria with this core, and against Trevenant. Trevenant can beat Annihilape, and it's neutral against Charjabug, and Skeledirge can beat both Annihilape and Charjabug. And yep, best partner, that is why Bastiodon. Bastiodon can beat all the Pokemons, all the core breakers of this core, and also can tank Shadow Ball very easily from that Talonflame. And with Shield Place, you can do good with Bastiodon. And this was a famous core. Like, I've used this multiple times with Charjabug and Annihilape and Bastiodon. Like, I've used Bastiodon in the lead, and then Charjabug and Annihilape. And I've also used Charjabug in the lead, and Bastiodon and Annihilape. And Azumarill can also be a very good partner of this core, and Feraligatr and Sableye as well. Now, Feraligatr can beat Skeledirge, Talonflame, and Trevenant. And if you got the move, you can the Ice Beam, then you can also beat Altaria, but it's gonna be tough against Altaria. That's why Bastiodon and Azu is like one of the best partner for this core. And with Sableye, you can like beat Trevenant and Skeledirge, and it's gonna be neutral against Talonflame and Altaria. So moving on to another battle. Not battle, sorry. Moving on to another core. Doing the commentary videos of battle videos, it's become my habit saying let's move on to another battle. Like I was going to while playing the Go Fest, I was going to another location and I said my guys that let's move on to another battle. I actually wanted to say let's move on to another location. Then my tongue slipped and I said let's move on to another battle. So sorry for that. So let's move on to another core. Core number 5 is going to be Skarmory and Whiscash. I've like said a lot of times, 1,000 times, that this is the OG core, Skarmory and Whiscash. One of the best core since the classic days. This has been one of my favorite and everybody's favorite. A lot of players reach legend with this core. People even use Skarmory and double Mud Boys. Like I've also tried it. I have video of that as well. Skarmory, Quagsire, and Whiscash, or Swampert and Whiscash. And yep, core breaker is going to be Annihilape. Now, even though Skarmory is going to be the flyer, Annihilape can beat it, and Annihilape can beat in shield scenarios against Whiscash. So Charjabug can also be another core breaker. Charjabug can beat Skarmory, and Charjabug against Whiscash is neutral. In 2 shields, Whiscash is gonna beat Charjabug, right? Yep, it's in 2 shields. It is going to beat Charjabug, but it can still be called as a core breaker, and that's what best partner is going to be Talonflame. You can also use Skeledirge. Both Talonflame and Skeledirge resist those counters from Annihilape, and Feraligatr does pretty cool here as well. If you use Feraligatr and Sableye in this core, you should use Whiscash in the lead, and then Skarmory and Feraligatr or Sableye at the back. And there aren't many core breakers of this core. Like what is going to be the core breaker of Skarmory and Whiscash, right? Skarmory is going to be weak against Fire Flyers and even Typhlosion and even Bastiodons and those things. And Whiscash is going to take perfect core of those, and Whiscash is going to be weak against those grass, those Obama Snows. Skarmory is going to take care of those, right? And Skarmory is going to be a little weak against Alone Sandslash, but Whiscash is going to take care of those. Skarmory is going to be weak against Lanturns. Whiscash is going to take care of those. This is a perfect balanced core. That is why this is called the OG core. OG. And yep, not many core breakers. That is why Annihilape can beat both of these. That is why Annihilape is the core breaker there. Also, Poliwrath can be the core breaker as well. Poliwrath. Yeah, sure. Poliwrath, Annihilape. And also Charjabug, like I said. And even there are other things. If you talk about Mantine and Glygars, alright. Skarmory is going to be able to beat Gligar. And Skarmory and Mantine is going to be neutral. So Whiscash is going to lose against Mantine. So Mantine can be a core breaker, but I've not kept it, but it can be played out, right? Like if you use Whiscash and double flyer, like Whiscash, Skarmory and Talonflame, then Mantine is gonna be the core breaker. Like if you find it in the lead, then what are you gonna do, right? You're gonna soft lose and then come in with the Skarmory, or you can do the Skarmory safe swap and like that. So yeah, Mantine can also be the core breaker, but yeah, there aren't really the real clear core breakers for this core. Like if you use like in the previous cores that I talked about, it was Guzzlord and Skeledirge. So there are fire and like steel and dragon, right? So Azumarill was the clear Azumarill, and those Bastiodons were the clear core breakers, like steel against dragon and rock against fire. So those were the real core breakers. Anyways, yeah, this is going to be very interesting core breaker. Moving on to another core. It's going to be my favorite, Shadow Dragonair and Lanturn. Now, Shadow Dragonair, Lanturn, and Leaky Tongue, I've got like 2 or 3 videos of this team, my favorite team, and everybody liked this team, and I got a very good response from you guys for this team, and thank you for that. And thank you for giving me good responses for this core, Dragonair and Lanturn. I really appreciate that. This is gonna be very good. Like, Lanturn is gonna be weak against those Whiscash, right? And Grass, and Dragonair is gonna take care of those. But the core breaker is gonna be almost Sandslash and Obama Snow. Like, what are you gonna do, right? Lanturn is gonna lose against both of these. Dragonair is gonna lose against both of these. Now, Lickitung can neutralize the scenario, but if almost Sandslash is running Shadow Claw as the fast move, it's gonna be cool with Lickitung. And with Annihilape can beat both the core breakers. That is why it's in the best partner section. Same with Poliwrath, same with Talonflame. Talonflame can beat Sandslash and Abomasnow and can be a good partner of this core. But if you use Talonflame, then it's gonna be weak against those Basties and Carbings. Alright, Basties and Carbings. And only answer would be a Lanturn, so you can use it as ABB. And yep, if you use Skarmory as the best partner for this core, it's gonna beat Abomasnow, but it's gonna be a little trouble against alone Sandslash, and you need to do a lot of teamwork to do something against alone Sandslash. But I've tried it a couple of times and it worked out pretty well for me. It gave me very good results. And Skeledirge. Just as Talonflame, you can use Skeledirge as well. And moving on to another core. Core number 7 is going to be Charjabug and Lanturn. Now, even though both of Pokemons are electric Pokemons, electric types, they do not share the same weakness. Right? They do not share the same weakness. Like, Lanturn is going to be weak against grass. Charjabug is not going to be weak against grass. So, yeah, and Charjabug even resists the counters. That's a plus point, and is also going to be able to beat those Cresselias, which got that Grass Knot for that Lanturn. So that is why Charjabug is really popular in Open Great League. And yep, the core breaker is going to be Gligar. I'm going to be able to beat both Lanturn and Charjabug. And I've also kept Whiscash. Whiscash can beat Lanturn. Pretty cool. And Whiscash against Charjabug in shield plays, Whiscash will be able to beat Charjabug as well. That is why it's there as the core breaker. Best partner is going to be Gligar itself and Mantine. So Mantine can beat both Gligar and Whiscash, and Gligar can beat Whiscash, but you're gonna watch out for that Scald. And Gligar, if you're Lanturn, if I use this team, I would use Lanturn in the lead, Gligar and Charjabug at the back, or Gligar in the lead and double electric at the back. I'll do that. Now, if you find Gligar in the lead against your Lanturn in the lead, then you're gonna be just fine. You can also use Water Gun. If you don't use Water Gun, also it's gonna be fine. You're gonna soft lose, throw the Surf, and then come in with your own Gligar. That's what you're gonna do when you use ABA, and you can also use it as ABB. So this is gonna be fun core. Moving on to another core, it's going to be core number 8, Cresselia and Fighter, Cresselia and Annihilape, or Cresselia and Poliwrath. This is a very good core. I used Cresselia, Poliwrath, and Lickitung. I used Cresselia in the lead, Lickitung at the safe swap, Poliwrath in the back. The video is available in the channel. You can go check that out. It really worked. It really worked. Now, obviously, Charjabug resisting the counters and being bogged against that psychic typing of Cresselia, Charjabug is going to be the core breaker. Gligar can beat Fighters, obviously. And Shadow Gligar can beat Cresselia in 2 shields. Normal Gligar is going to lose against Cresselia in 2 shields. That is very interesting fact. Like, I've tried it a couple or more times. Shadow Gligar can beat Cresselia in shield plays. And yep, Talonflame resisting those counters and can beat against Cresselia, can beat Cresselia. Cresselia doesn't have the move to throw at Talonflame unless it has that future sight. And yeah, with those flies and being the flying type, resist the counters, Poliwrath needs to land Scald and Annihilape needs to land Shadow Ball in order to win against Skeledirge and Talonflame. So yeah, they can beat Cresselia. That is why they are the core breakers of this core, and the best partners, like I've said, I've used Cresselia, Poliwrath, and Lickitung. You can use Lickitung as the best partner. And yeah, you can use Altaria. Altaria can beat like 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 of its core breakers. It's going to be amazing partner of this core. If you use Altaria, then you need to use Fighter in the lead and Altaria and Cresselia at the back. Like both the Pokemons at the back are going to be weak against Bastiodon, and you can use Fighter in the lead. And you can also use Lanturn in this core. Lanturn can beat all 4 of its core breakers, but it's going to be neutral against Charjabug. So yeah, Lanturn also can be very good partner of this core. So yeah, I think I want to try Poliwrath in the lead and Altaria and Cresselia at the back. That's going to be really, really interesting. If I were to use this core, I would do that. So moving on to core number 9. Core number 9 is going to be Skeledirge and Umbreon. Now, if you go into PvPoke site and go in top performers and best teams, the number 1 is going to be Skeledirge, Umbreon, and Vigoroth. Like I wanted to talk about this core because, and again, I checked PvPoke and it was Vigoroth with this core. Now the problem with that is Azumarill is gonna be the core breaker, and none of the 3 Pokemons are gonna have the move to throw at Azumarill, like Rock Slide from Vigoroth and Last Resort from Umbreon and Shadow Ball from Skeledirge. Those are the moves that you're gonna have to throw against Umbreon. Those are hard hitters, but it's gonna be a rough time against Azumarill. So that is why Azumarill is in the core breakers area there, and Altaria is also the core breaker. Altaria can beat Umbreon, Altaria can beat Skeledirge, and Bastiodon can beat both Skeledirge and Umbreon. So those are the core breakers, and you can use Azumarill itself in this core, like Azumarill in the lead and Skeledirge and Umbreon at the back. Like both the Pokemons at the back will struggle against Bastiodon, but if you don't have Hydro Pump, then you're still gonna struggle, but you're gonna at least do fine, not that bad. So you're gonna like soft lose and then play the game. And Altaria, if you talk about Altaria, then ABB against Altaria. If you use Azumarill, you can also run Lanturn. Lanturn can beat Azumarill, its core breaker. Lanturn can beat in shield place against Bastiodon, and you can also run Lanturn in the lead and then these Pokemons at the back, and Vigoroth to neutralize the situation as PvPoke has given the team. So number 1 team in PvPoke for Open Great League is Skeledirge, Vigoroth, and Umbreon, interestingly. So yeah, you can try this team. Let's move on to the final core. Core number 10 is going to be Lanturn and Typhlosion. You can use both Shadow or normal, both variants of Typhlosions. Now look at it. Typhlosion gonna be weak against waters. Lanturn is gonna beat waters. Lanturn is gonna be weak against grass. Typhlosion is gonna beat grass. And Gligar is gonna be the core breaker. Alright, I didn't keep Gligar in the core breaker. And Dragons and Gligar is gonna be the core breaker. I missed Gligar. I thought I kept Gligar in the core breaker section. Gligar is going to be the core breaker, and Dragons. That is why we got best partners, Azumarill and Abomasnow and Alolan Sandslash. All 3 Pokemon can beat like Dragons and Gligars. So if you use Azumarill, you're just going to be fine. It's going to be double water. And if you use like any of the ice with this core, then you're going to have to use Lanturn in the lead, because Typhlosion and Ice both is going to be weak against Bastiodon, and you're going to struggle against Bastiodon. Lanturn in the lead is going to take care, not completely, but a little bit of care it can take. And yeah, overall this is going to be fine. But Gligar is also going to be the core breaker. And yep, that is it, guys. Those were the 10 best cores that you can use in the Open Great League, and it's gonna be Open Great League for another 2 weeks. So let's climb and push the ELO. And if you like the content, then please do leave a like and comment and subscribe the channel if you have not yet. And yeah, please do join the Discord server, and we have membership on channel, and please do join our membership if you want, and you can check the membership perks. And yep, thank you so much, guys.